So this is what's left of the plants. Not necessarily going to plant all these. Some are for insurance purposes in case I lose some. Definitely need to put in my sunflowers. My rice needs to be put in. Some of the celery. And then I'm not sure what to do with all the extra tomatoes. I did list some plants and I got some sold. So I might put the extra tomatoes on Marketplace also. Or I don't know. Anyway, I've cleared up the front here. Got to do a deep clean there maybe in the next weekend. The only plant planted here, and this is usually what I do, is one of my Sungolds. I like to have it here on the porch because it's right outside the door for picking in the mornings or snack time in the middle of the day. And I get the string. I need to redo the string because it gets old and falls apart. But I just do a couple of strings and I let the darn thing vine out all over these boxwoods and climb up. And it gets really up there. It gets 12 feet tall for sure. So this has been a week of doing and less of showing. I did capture a couple of scenes, so I'll interject those in the video when I'm in that spot of the garden. But I'll try to do this quick because there was a lot of putting plants in that happened. And I don't even remember half of the things I put in because I just put them in. And if they're not like staples, mostly flowers type stuff, then I didn't really label them so much. And I'm just like, if it comes up, great. I'll figure it out when it comes up. If not, I want. That's that. But let's see. I put in a few flowers. I think they're not lobelia. Scabiosa. That's all I got. Try to put in the names if I can figure it out. So these two are still alive. Whoopee! There were two of these, but only one is left. And then this one's not looking so good. The only new things here are the cages for the strawberries because I was losing half my produce to critters that would just like dig a nail into them and waste them. Yep, there's one that's wasted. So that goes to the birds. But I'm hoping to save a few more by having these not really big enough cages, but it is what it is for now. Let's see, here's another lost one, half eaten. Yeah. This one, well, it's got a dent on one side, but the other side looks good. That's so good. It's a shame I have to throw half of it away. Just a little update on the plants I did put out here. Some of the sweet peas are doing really well. They bounced back from the shock of getting planted. We've got new leaves coming in, but some did not, or slowly bouncing in. That one's coming in. We do have some new growth, but it is slow. But I guess they're all doing okay. They're getting some regrowth. Here's another area that I plugged in. If I can find it, there it is. My Sungold. I had only 3 seeds left, and all 3 germinated, so I wasn't gonna just kill any. So I plugged them in odd spots that I normally wouldn't put them. And if they grow, then I'm gonna have a bumper crop of Sungold. I'm also losing my bells of Ireland in this container. This one's not doing so good, but I don't know if this is like a second plant or if this is from the same, but this one's doing all right. So maybe we'll still, oh yeah, it's already flowering. I don't think that's great. So I don't think we had a very successful bells of Ireland. They're very stunted. Maybe they stayed in the container too long. This one also has many little flowers coming in. So this might be the extent of it, but we'll hopefully get some seeds out of it and try again next year. I did thin out the calendula I went through with my weed shearer and just like made zigzag patterns, and just because usually I pull them out and that works, but there was just so much to do. So in this case, and there's so many other weeds in between, and this one's already dying, but yeah, so I did do some thinning here. These are doing fine. All right, on to some actual new plants. I cleaned up this little, I don't remember where I got this from or why, but here it is. I decided to use it as a planter. I think it was for some construction project ages ago, but yeah, so I used it. I put flowers in it. Cosmos is what stuck. So there was plenty of volunteers, but I plugged in a whole bunch that I had seeded, and I gotta get these grasses under control. Also in there are some zinnias. That's a zinnia, that's a zinnia, that's a zinnia. So those I just plugged in, and I kind of kept them in clumps. So I don't know how well that's going to be. I might have to stake them up to keep them upright. That might be too much for them. Nothing else new in here other than those. The weather was chilly in the beginning of the week, the weekend into the beginning of the week, and we did lose some plants because of that. But then it turned almost like a heat wave. When you're not used to it, it feels like unbearable. It wasn't that bad. It was high 80s. It would be kind of nice if you weren't toiling in it. So a lot of plants did bounce and are getting their groove on with the turn in the weather. Most notably the squashes. So these are pumpkins. I'm having issues with the ants. The ants and the aphids are really attacking the artichokes, which in hindsight is really what causes stunting. So I need to get the hoses out soon and spray, spray, spray. So here's the bed of mainly winter squashes, the Moroccans. I'm gonna have to pick, the best and brightest because there's way too many in here for them to all survive. The Blue Hubbard is slowly doing its thing. These are, what are these? Butternuts. Those are the acorns. Then I plugged in, I believe, a sugar baby. I can't remember, and I didn't tag it, so blah. And then I have a bajillion basil plants, so I've really dotted those in everywhere to hopefully deter any of the pests. I also have quite a bit of marigolds. Oh, we already got flower. I just put this in, was it yesterday? But it was already ready to flower. So, yay, that's so cute. Instant gratification, nothing like it. What's in here? Yes, these zucchinis have really exploded in the heat that we got. Yeah, I just put in those marigolds. I also plugged in more basil. And then the sweet potatoes are alive, thankfully, and they'll make it through. I seeded a few more. I think this is Minnesota midget, cantaloupe, and I can't remember what this was. This was a watermelon. It's either another sugar baby or something. We'll find out if it comes up, right? The carrots looking really good. It's too early to thin, I think. I think my problem has been thinning it too early. But I'm really happy with how the carrots are looking this year. Might be the first year of successful carrots. Now, this potato plant is looking pathetic. I think the birds, they use the trellis to sit on and poop all over the plants. So I'm getting a lot of disease on this potato plant. Hopefully it makes it through and gives me some taters in the end. Maybe we'll spray it at some point. I don't know. It's not like a priority for me. So here's a case where we lost the majority of the cucumbers. This one's holding on, one of the pickling ones. So I did seed more. That one's an Armenian coming up. I had another seed, but it didn't look like it's coming up yet. So I might throw in another seed in there for good measure. Did I have this moonflower here last time? What I have done is I had extra leeks because I thought I'd lost those to critters. So I did plunk in extra leeks in this grow bag. We'll see how that goes. In here, I still have a lot of real estate to cover. I'm not going to stress over whether I fill them in or not. But I did get a container of mints in. This is the peppermint and this is the spearmint. Very excited. Not really. This is Mexican mint, which is like a tarragon, supposedly substitute. But I do have tarragon seeds that I'm going to grow and compare. And I moved the ginger plant here because it likes some shade. It doesn't like to be in full sun. It does not like that at all. Nothing new here. I do have some snapdragon seeds that I'm going to dot in here at some point. I don't remember if I had, yes, I did film this. So in this container, I have Haley's Best, Cantaloupe, which are the only two survivors. And then in that container, I'm going to be putting in what survived. Crimson Sweet. I have Crimson Sweet for there. And then I also have an Orange Glow that I have to find a place for. And then I brought seeds out. So I don't know if I'm going to seed, where I'm going to seed. So that's a to be continued on the melons. But these melons are doing fine. I don't know if you can see, but the compost was harboring quite a bunch of maggots and, you know, eggs of things. So now I have flies galore. They'll just die in there and feed the soil. So they're not harming the plants. That's all that matters. They'll stay in there. I'm not releasing them. These are a couple more of the extra pumpkins. One's, I think that's the Big Macs. That's the New England. I've only had one cage left, so that one will have to fend for itself. And the same for this one, doing a-okay, even with the fly infestation. So this is one area that I did a lot of work in this week. Let's start with this bed. I plunked in peanuts, yes. So I'm about to plant these peanuts. Now I had already put 6 in indoor situation and they did not come up. So then I did 4 more in this cup of water, and 2 of the, no, 2 or 3, where'd they go? At least 2, if not 3. It took a long time though for them to start showing life. That little nub there. It's been more than a week, I'm sure of it. And then this one broke off, but looks like it's still alive. And then the other nuts I just put in recently because I'm just going to put those directly in soil. So I'm just letting them sit in a little bit of water for me a few minutes before I get outside. Yeah, they say poor germination in general with the with peanuts. So you want to kind of plant a few extra. I'm going to space these 4 inches apart in a grow bag and hope for the best. And these are Virginia peanuts, BTW. So I just made a hole every 5 inches apart in this, I don't know, 15-20 gallon pot here. And I'm gonna drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seeds. So they say 2 inches below, but I made my hole too deep. I'm gonna have to drop some compost. Just there. That's a mushroom. I'm thinking the pointy, like most of the time, pointy end up, but I'm guessing it doesn't much matter. They'll figure it out. Now, I don't know about if the skin falls off, what happens, but again, I don't think it matters that much. See, like this one, I don't know which end is supposedly pointy, so I'm just gonna lay that sideways. I already put one in there beforehand, so I have how many left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 probably, because I know one of those is a dud at least. So cover that up. is unsifted compost. I got tired of sifting my compost. So it's a little crunchy. Oh, there's a volunteer ground cherry there. I'll let that grow. There's also some volunteer. I don't know how they got here other than a squirrel or chipmunk brought them, because these are, what is this? This is a blueberry that was just planted. This is like new from last fall. So I definitely did not do the planting myself. Alright, that's a peanut planter. And since we don't put all our peanuts in one basket, that's about peanuts, right? We've got another container here to use. And the weeds come up. And I'm hoping they're still here. I'm seeing holes in the soil. I'm hoping they didn't get stolen already. So we'll see how that goes. I still have an empty-ish bed there. This bed I harvested, so, and they were starting to go to flower, so you can see this one. But the thing with the Asian greens is that they're still delicious even when they've gone to flower. I mean, not too far past the beginning stages of flowering, but they don't get bitter very quickly. But I also plunked in, what did I plunk in here? Some mung beans. A few mung beans should be coming up in this container. Now, in my haste to plant out the whole garden, I completely forgot about the radishes. So the radishes have gone to flower, unfortunately. Some of them, not all of them. The turnips have not. This is like a few turnips. There's a different kind of radish in the middle, which is a longer season one. So I think that's still fine. But we do have, I saw some there, some really nice bulbs, but I think they're too far gone now to be edible. So we'll pull those up a little bit later on today. The beets are doing their thing. Nothing much there. The potatoes look good. Anyway, back to new things, not old things. I have so much, and I had so much onions, so I was like, I gotta just plant these out. So I took some of the grow bags that were empty. This is one of them. This is the red Weathersfield I filled in. I'm letting the Mizuna and the arugula flower and hopefully self-seed, but I also did plunk a few of my lettuce that was just sitting around. This was another empty grow bag that I filled in with my smaller tomatoes. So I've got 2 geranium kisses back there. Those like bush. I got basil in the middle, and then my tiny Tims, which like to trail in the front here. So, survival of the fittest. Hopefully it'll all just work out. In this container, I had my spinach, also great. I was able to harvest those and put them in a like cream sauce. Delicious. Even when they were starting to flower, they were still good. And I'll have to look up what variety this one is, because it's later to flower than the others. So that's convenient. There's probably other varieties that I should explore in the future that are even hardier in the warmth. But what I did do is plunk some more onions, and my rutabagas are in this bed. Here's another bed. This is the Swiss chard. This does well in the heat, so all I did was plunk in more onions. This bed, more onions, but mainly this is peppers. You can't see them because they're so freaking small. But let's get to these alyssums. These were winter sown, so big, so healthy. So there's been a lot of digging here recently. So, this board is because I want to put my garlic here in the fall, because for the purposes of rotational growing. So I put this board here to keep the soil, not exposed to the elements, and also so I don't plant in it, because then I have to destroy whatever plant went in there. Peppers. Let's get to the peppers. This is my overwintered jalapeno that's been just eking along, flowering, pulling out the flowers. So finally it's back in its home. It can go ahead and fruit if it wants to. Now, my best specimen is that Thai chili. as in the biggest, not necessarily healthy or anything, but it looks good. Also, this one is an orange habanero, looking good. Another orange habanero. My Thai chilies, my other Thai chilies, are so tiny. This is a mystery, but I call it mini bell because it looks like teeny tiny little bell peppers that are super hot. My sweet peppers were the most pathetic. So the bell peppers, really, really stunted. I don't even know which is the plant because I've got so many weeds. Oh, these are all. I put all three of them in because survival of the fittest kind of thing. This is a two Jimmy Nardellos. We'll see which makes it and which doesn't. There's still a bit of weeding to be done always, but as you can see, I did a chop and drop situation where I just weed and put it back on the soil. So it covers the soil and whatever. I know this is a weed, but I like it. Same situation with this bed. I have, well, that's my garlic there, but I plunked in peppers. More Jimmy Nardello. And then I have ghost pepper here. And I thought I had another ghost pepper. No, it died. I only have this two of ghost peppers. I have a couple of poblanos and two habaneros, I think. Where's the other one? One habanero? No, two. Two habaneros. And then two shishitos, three shishitos, I think. Can't tell from the weeds whatnot. So that's another pepper bed. I also have some volunteer. I'm pretty sure these are cherry tomatoes. That looks like it got eradicated. That can't be good. But yeah, so I have at least this one of a volunteer. And I like those tomatoes. I left this bed alone for now because I want to have a better fall situation. So I want to leave a bed so that I have somewhere to put my fall sowing plants. Oh, one thing I was remiss on is that the garlic scapes are coming up. I was just so busy planting everything out that I haven't paid attention. So garlic scapes are coming up, which means we need to harvest these and make yummy food dinners. And in a month, we will be getting our garlic out. I've got tomato row pretty much in. I've got the beef steaks and the big ones in the closest to me, and then the paste tomatoes and smaller ones over in the front. I think. I'm not really sure. I'm too tired to have analyzed it that closely. So here's an update on tomato row. Let me go fix that thing. So I cover these plants with, juice container, milk container, because we do have rabbits and I don't want to lose them quite so quickly after I just planted them. So I'm hoping this is part of the deterrent. There's usually two of certain things, but some things are just one of it. This is a striped German, Dr. White Cheese, Paul Robeson, striped Roma, pineapple, ananas noir, black crim, Aunt Ruby, black tula, black seaman, honey drop. Oh, I can't see from this corner, but that's tropical sunset, gobstopper, Rutgers, hillbilly, brandywine, San Marzano, NCRD, Amish paste, and glacier bush to round it out. Now, you saw some of those are super puny, but I'm sure they'll bounce back, and I am going to apply the aspirin spray that I've seen for years now done. So I am going to hit them up with the aspirin spray later on today after the sun has passed its hot point. I also dotted in borage and a whole bunch of basil. And then we've got our marigold in our hollowed out logs. We got nasturtium over there. Here I've got a Brussels sprout, I believe. Yeah, Brussels sprout and either a cauliflower or a collard. For some reason, I had both in a container. And then more Brussels sprouts here. Can't really see them, can you? This is what you gotta do to protect the plants. So that purple plant is Brussels sprouts. Last week this tray was looking fine. And then it got cold and now it's less than stellar. Mainly the okra. What do we got? Heavy hitter. What are these letters? I've forgotten. We got red burgundy and long pod Perkins. Are looking very sad, and this one is like, the stem is wasting away. So I don't even know if I'm gonna plant these or just replace them with seeds, which I have right here. I guess I'll do both. So I'm gonna do 2 of each. That was what I had in mind for the bed that I've lightly weeded here. So I decided to just put the seeds in because the tap roots are pretty pathetic. So I finished up this bed with the okras. I've got ping tong, 2 of those, 2 little fingers, and then 1 black beauty and an asswad variety. And that's the okra over there in the back. And then in here, see if I can get it closer. Then I can't see. This is my eggplants. A whole bunch of teeny tiny eggplants, but I know they'll grow to be humongous soon enough. And then unfortunately, the okra did not make it through the cool spell we had. So I have to reseed. So I have 6, 2 of each variety that I have, I think. So okra is in there. So this is to keep the flea beetles out, hopefully. Granted, I have a giant hole right there I should patch up. So that's for the flea beetles. And then in here is my corn, sweet corn. These were the ones that I sowed like a month ago. And then in the empty spaces are seeds that I just plunked in a couple of days ago. Now, the most work this week in the heat was the soil. I had bought soil, but I'm not just going to plunk bought soil into my soil. I have to amend it. So I did have to put, it was called garden soil, so it was pretty pathetic. It's mainly like woody stuff. So I had to mix in my perlite and also my homemade compost to make them healthier. And then I had to spade up, dig up the soil and loosen it up because this is compacted stuff. And then I did make mounds of earth, like the tomatoes are mounded because I wanted to keep them warm as possible. I didn't want to stunt them by putting them into cooler soil, although I think the soil is up to temperature by now. But I just wanted this mounding situation to be my course for this year. Unfortunately, the straw that I put down to cover my mushroom are all sprouting, and I don't want to pull them up because that would just disturb the soil and the network of, mycelial growth and fungi. So I guess I'll mow this, not mow per se, but I'll mow this down once it gets big enough and control it that way. This is another container where I put in the peanuts. Hopefully they're still there. I had a volunteer groundcherry that I left alone, and then there's 2 more volunteers there. So I'm going to be loaded with ground cherries this year. There's another bag that had a potato survivor, so I put more onions in there. There's also onions in that one, but you can't see it with all the potatoes growing over there. I have another empty container over there that I can put something in, so I got to remember that and not waste that space. As far as blueberries are concerned, most are already well into their blueberries, whereas we're still very much in the green phase. But at least we've got a nice bunch of fruit in some of them. This tiny space this year is hosting Gladiolus that I got from Tractor Supply because my daughter picked it out. But those corms looked pathetic. I had them in the refrigerator for at least a month from when I bought them to when the soil was workable. So I've only got like 3, maybe 4 of the, was there 15 maybe? So at least it's something. So that'll be cute for her. So I don't know how long I'll have as far as the weather is concerned to get these peas up, if they'll give me anything. I mean, if I move them into a shadier spot, will that help? I could do that. So we'll have to watch that. Here's another area where I've caged my strawberries. Ooh, that looks really good down there. Yep, 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 yep. And this one galleta is also fruiting, so that's exciting. So the Greenstalk has some really nice looking lettuce that finally came up. These are ready to get eaten. But I did seed a bitter melon in here. That's for my mother, not for me. We've got some nice fruit set coming on here. Also harvested these greens, but they're still holding on there. And I will be plunking in different seeds in here in the coming week. I think this is winter savory. Doesn't look too much like a weed. Like, I know this one's a weed. And that's a weed. I got clovers everywhere. But I'm hoping this is winter savory here. And then I just seeded summer savory in here. So we'll see if those come up. What else did I put in here? I put a nasturtium. Hopefully that should be pretty. I do have a complaint with these strawberries. They didn't fruit much last year and not looking that much better this year. So I'm not sure. I might have to just like completely take out some of these and replace them with something more productive. I don't know. I'm not happy in general. What's really good are these teeny tiny ones, which are in my balcony upstairs. They are so delicious and they give off so much fruit. So I might want to get more of those instead of these giant ones that haven't produced much. What else is new in here? Nothing really. The onions are huge. I'm so happy that they've survived at least. All right. All right, I finally cleaned up this little container. I decided to put my other Sungold in here. I think these are carrots. I seeded these like in the early spring, and then I thought they got washed out and didn't really pay attention. Weeds grew up, but since I weeded, I saw them. I was like, oh, I think, and they smelled when I pulled some and killed some. So I think we do have some carrots coming up there. Some chives are living up. I have chives all over the property, but I don't know what they are. They were here with the property, and I don't like that. So I did plunk in some chives. I also have some more flowers that I'm going to put in the front here to fill in this container. The Brassicas area is doing really well. It's hard to see through the netting. You'll just have to trust me. They've grown really nicely. The broccoli looks good. The cabbage looks good. Swiss chard. What else do I have in here? Kale. The kale did have a bug in it already, so I was able to squash it. And I think since then, that should be gone and it should recover. Oh, no, I see it. Dang it. I missed one. Okay, I got to get on that. And maybe it's the last one, maybe not. But we have plenty of kale everywhere, so I really shouldn't freak out about it so much. This strawberry plant was too big, so I really couldn't get these stupid little cages around it. But I do have this one covering this one fruit. Let's see. Is it good to go? I'm going to pull it. It's all malformed and stuff, but I don't care. All right, let me try to put this around some other fruit cluster. That's the problem with the plant, is that it goes really big. So I have pruned off some of these bigger leaves because I feel like they were just too much. But anyway, I'm just going to do that for now. I still have, I mean, these are probably just going to go to the birds because there's way too many and I don't have, you could say I have the space, but how much mint and thyme and oregano does a person need? And I tried selling them and I got a few bites, but not enough to completely get rid of them. Yeah, I have plenty. So these will just have to go to the birds. So this to me smells and looks like chamomile, but the growth of it was very quick and suspect, which makes me wonder if it's a pineapple weed, which is a look-alike of chamomile and everything. And it's edible. There's nothing wrong with it. So I'm wondering if it is a pineapple weed or if it is truly chamomile. Either way, it smells great, so I'll use it up the same way. Um, is there anything new in here? No, it just looks like things are bolting or growing along or being super weedy. The hollyhock is growing super fast. Whatever these greens are doing well. My sweet Williams. I caged in the feverfew because it was flopping into my really good chamomile. The beautiful foxglove. I did have to thin out this yarrow because it was just bananas, and because mainly I had to get my boatload of basil in. Now, I don't expect all of these to bush out because this is way too many for this little space. So I will either keep them trimmed or I will at some point thin it out to just a few plants. 3, I'd say, is what this space can hold nicely. And with the thinning, it also helps with the marigold and other plants that are squished, more chamomile, to get their breathing space. I still have to take out this green thing, and I'm still hoping to seed some stuff in here, but at the same time, it may be too late. They might be getting too shaded out if I do that because these plants are starting to get established now. So we shall have to see. That flower smells good. I got to see what that was. Um, yeah, I got a lot done this week. I was sweating bullets every day. Monday was calm. I had my live with Healy at Healy Means, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the hottest days of the week were full on hauling soil, mixing soil, sifting compost. It was just brutal, and then planting. So I've got, I'd say, 80% of the stuff in. The things, maybe 90. The last things are my rice, my sunflowers, which is going to be interesting for me. And what was the last thing? Beans. I got to get beans, more beans. And I got the mung in, but I want to get soybean and what was that other one? Lima. Because lima beans was a complete failure last year. The plant grew, but no beans. And then I got to set up another trellis for the climbing beans. I don't want to stick them with the tomatoes again because I feel like I have a lot of tomatoes this year and it's going to be a lot of foliage to deal with and it's just going to get lost in all that. I have 20 varieties, by the way, of tomatoes. Maybe 21? Yeah, a lot of tomatoes this year. It should be interesting. Now, a lot doesn't mean anything because pests and diseases strike at any time. So the 20 could be cut in half in a day, in a night. So just because people have a lot of stuff doesn't mean every single one of those are successful. Like having children back in the day. Um, what else? Yeah. So I've got another week of intense planting, but the weather is on the calmer side, cooler side of summer, so it shouldn't be so terrible. And I should be able to get a few more videos out to you for that. But with that, there's also the cleanup aspect, continually weeding all the areas that I had, my seed starting stuff in. I gotta vacuum, I gotta blow it out, I gotta, what's that word? With the water, high pressure wash, pressure wash like the patios and stuff. The house needs to be taken care of inside and outside. We had like birds nesting in the eaves of our house, so now I think they're done. So I gotta pull all that yucky stuff out, and it's like 30 feet up in the air. Yeah, I'm the one who gets on the ladders around here. The gutters are full of maple twirlies. Those are always a menace at this time. So I think that's mostly done. So I have to get up there and clean out all the gutters. So it's all systems go for the most part. Just now, because I gotta think about the fall. I gotta keep that in the forefront, and I gotta keep thinking about harvesting because you miss the harvest sometimes when you're busy doing other things. Um, but yeah, I want to be serious about the fall also. So in a month, I'll be sowing more seeds. Succession sowing. I have spaces that I can put seeds in now. I have seeds I want to put in. So there's a lot. It's never ending, as we all know. All right, I've talked enough. Whew, I've talked enough for today. All right, I gotta get on with the things. I will get a video to you again soon. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Love ya. Talk to y'all again soon. So I'll harvest more. Bye. All right, that's a potato. That's a peanut. Something. All right, that's a peanut plant. Sir.